Hey FlossTube, it's Megan, aka Georgia Girl Stitching, both on here and on Instagram. Welcome back for my second episode. I of course have to start out by just thanking you all so much for just an incredible welcome to the FlossTube community. I mean, I'm already at almost like 1,500 subscribers and I am speechless and overwhelmed by just how incredible of a welcome I have received. So thank you all for watching and sharing and subscribing, and I hope I can live up to it for this second episode. So we'll go ahead and get started. I do have so many finishes to show you. Previous finishes that I've gotten back from Barbara, and a few finishes I've done in this past week, and then just some that I've gotten from around the apartment. So we'll get started. One of my more recent ones, this is Key West by Awesome Pattern Studio Co. I don't have the pattern anymore. It was a PDF and I threw away my cover page. So, but I didn't really change anything. So kind of get a close up of it. The only thing I changed about it was I added a tarpon down here. So I started this piece last year. David and I, my fiance, we took our first solo trip to the Keys last June, and it was an incredible trip, and I wanted a way to remember it, and we it was for our anniversary, which is in June, and we spent the actual day of our anniversary in Key West and just had a magical day. But one of the other things we did is I think I've mentioned, he's a fisher and wanted to do official fly fishing for the first time. So we chartered a couple guys down in the Keys, and he went fly fishing for tarpon and a couple other kinds of fish in the flats. So, and he actually caught a tarpon during one of the night fly fishings, and so I added a little tarpon in there to remember that. And then Barbara finished it. I actually bought this. I think it was at Hobby Lobby or Joann's. It was like unfinished wood that you can buy, and I gave it to her. And she finished it. She painted it and then did the rope around so I can hang it on my wall and remember it. Of course, it'll go on my future beach wall that I mentioned. Another one that I started while we were on that trip is the Sue Hillis Life and Liberty. So I started it while we were down there during one of our days, and then during the 14-hour car trip on the way back, I got most of it done and then finished it shortly after. So I did this in like less than a week, but it is America. The only thing I changed was these stars and the flag are supposed to be French knots, and I am not a fan of French knots, so I actually had some leftover white beads from my Celtic Winter that I'd finished a couple months before and just added the beads. My French knots just don't look very uniform. I haven't gotten to that point yet, so but stars and the flag are all uniform, so the best way to do that was to add beads. And then Barbara finished it into a flat fold. Put the star ribbon on the side, and it just kind of hangs. This is what was on my mantle. A couple people asked about it. That was on my mantle behind me. So there's that. Actually, another kind of fun story about it. So this fabric is, I actually got it for free from Lenny. Jen and I were over at her house, and that's a whole story of itself. But we were over there and she had this fabric, and she was cutting it at the shop at one point and accidentally bled on the fabric. And so she had to then buy it and take it. And it was just like a couple little dots of blood, but it's 28 count mushroom look on it, and she wasn't really she didn't have a use for it yet or anything, but I really wanted to do this piece on that fabric, so she like gave it to me. It was the right size, so her blood is behind that leaf, so that's how I hid it. So I have a little bit of Lenny with me wherever I go, literally. And then Key West was on 32 count As You Wish by Under the Sea Fabrics. So sorry, I forgot to mention that. Another couple finishes that I have, I just got from Barbara the other day. She has finished pinning them, but I have not framed them yet. So they're not quite FFOs, but they're on their way to being FFOs. So the first one is Autumn by Cricut Collection. So I actually said that I'd only done summer. I forgot I had also done autumn, but I did it really fast. And I did it last year in late July, early August. So that's it. And then this is my piece. It's done on 32 count platinum linen. And I didn't really change anything about this one. I really liked the original. The only thing I changed was that I didn't add the stripes in this cat. I just made this cat, this is 310 from Keepsakes, the black cat that lives there. So I made her all black. So yeah, that's kind of hard to get it all in the same frame, but I didn't really change much about that one. The other one is the Summer. So this is the original Summer by Cricut Collection. And this is Summer Megan edition. And a lot of people have asked about this one too. So changes starting with the S. I added the G and I made the chair a more Georgia red. So the red that's called for is more of a pinky red. I made it Georgia red and added the G. And I also changed the ribbon to my color. The cherries are Smyrna stitches instead of, I think they're just normal stitches in the original pattern, but I changed them to Smyrna. So you can kind of see, focus. The M's, I guess, I changed pretty heavily. I'm not a gardener, so I didn't do the vegetables, but I do love the beach, as we know. So I changed out from the vegetables to the waves that actually I designed. So that's my creation. I added an anchor for multiple reasons. David being in the Navy and nautical and all of the things. And then that's my favorite color, blue. And then the sun I actually kept completely the same. This M is my other favorite color, green, and the green. Add a little sailboat here. The grapes I didn't change. And then the E and the R were definitely the most heavily changed. So part of my summer is 4th of July, of course. So I made it into a flag, and then I put fireworks behind it, and these are both in Krynic. And then I designed a little sandcastle. Well, I modified it from a pattern I already had. So it's not quite the same, but it was inspired by another pattern I had from a tiny modernist. And then the flag, the little banner I then changed. So I kind of have that same color going in the boat, the banner, and the hat. So that's my summer. And then another one is Zuka. So I talked about this a lot in my last video, this Turn Zuka White SAL that I did with Brandy and Karen. This is the original pattern. So it was orange and green put together. And this is what I changed it to. So we turned Zuka white. So we did it, this is 28 count Mountain Mist. And we did it in grits and chai. One of those is Weeks Dye Works, the other one's Classic Color Works. So yeah, and Barbara's got it all pinned for me to get it all framed. This was so fun. So this was my first official piece on linen as well that we started in late October. You can actually see, and I'll add a picture of it too. I figured out how, so I'll do it like right here. So Keepsakes has an Instagram, and they actually posted a picture of the three of us starting it when we first started it. So I went back and looked, and it's still on there, back from October of 2018. So I'll add a picture of it, but you can also check out the Keepsakes Instagram page as well. So there's my Zuka. Get her all ready for October and fall of this year, hopefully. And then the last previous finish I have to show you is actually a design that I made. I've dabbled in that a little bit. I haven't like sold any or anything, but I have like I said, I have like the Mac Stitch on my computer, so I've dabbled in it. But so I have three best friends from college. The four of us were pretty much inseparable, junior and senior UGA, and they're gonna be three of my bridesmaids in my wedding. But when we graduated, we all moved to different states. So I came to Ohio, one went to Rhode Island, one went to North Carolina, and then one stayed in Georgia, but in a different city. So I wanted a way to kind of commemorate, and we graduated in May. We saw each other late July, and then we weren't gonna see each other again until Christmas of 2018. So I wanted to, we always like give gifts to each other and everything. So I wanted a way to kind of commemorate like 2018. All of these were gonna be like temporary posts. So I was here before med school. The one who's a journalist was only gonna be in her area for a little while. One's in grad school and one was doing AmeriCorps. So it was all like all temporary positions of where we were. We might have stayed in those states longer, but for the time being, they were just supposed to be temporary. So, I made, this is on my mantle, last video, you might have seen it. So I designed this. So all hearts are where all of the cities are. So we got Providence, Rhode Island, Cincinnati, Ohio, Greensboro, North Carolina, and Albany, Georgia. And then this is Athens in the corner of Georgia. So I took everyone's favorite color so Jess and I had the same favorite color. So I let her have it, and then I took my second favorite, which is green. And then I kind of drew like a line from wherever we were in their color to Athens. And I deemed this Meet Me in Athens, because no matter what, no matter where we are in life, we'll always be able to meet each other in Athens. And then I put the date in not Kreinik, because as this is my last project that was done on Ada, and before I knew about Kreinik. I think I made these September of 2018. So I had just discovered Keepsakes, had not fully gotten into everything. But I did have Barbara finish them. She did the cording around in red plus the person's favorite color. And then this is just, I almost dropped it. I do that as soon as every video seems. Just a little, this is actually this is a few dollars at Hobby Lobby. And so she just finishes the exact right size. So I just had her finish it on that. I will insert a picture as well of the four of them all lined up that I took right before I gave it to them. And then we all got back together right after Christmas, and I gave it to them, and it was really fun. So yeah, so that's on 18 count Ada, white Ada. And then I did have a couple of people ask about my sunset and the pattern and the designer and where it came from. So I figured I would show you the cover page. It's called Palm Beach Sundown from Artisy. This is what it looks like. And then the other one was the Pooh cross stitch, my first finish, and I found the cover page for that too. So if you were interested and wanted to find it, it's called Eeyore's Problem, because Eeyore has a little bit of a problem there. So yeah. Now for my most recent finishes that I just finished this week. The first one is the sunflowers. So, Paige, if you're watching, please stop and text me. I don't think you are, but in case you do, and it's not your birthday yet, stop this video and text me, and I'll tell you what you can jump to. Okay, anyways, this is the wedding sunflower. So I finished the border, and I added, so her, she and her mom have a special saying, "You are my sunshine," and it's special to them. So I added that in the center. Her birthday is this June, and it's also the last time I'm gonna see her for quite a while. So she's one of my really good friends here in Cincinnati that I met in Cincinnati, who's also gonna be one of my bridesmaids. So, and her favorite flower is the sunflower. So I designed this I didn't design it, but I finished this part and then designed this for her, and I'm gonna give it to her this summer. And I found at Joann's a white frame for it to go in. So I'll be dropping this off at Keepsakes soon to get this all finished up. It's the white frame that'll go in. I wanted something kind of simple, so the cross stitch really jumped out. And it fits perfectly in an 8x10 frame. So that's what we're gonna do. And then the other one, so I've really been wanting to start Beachcomber, the Carolyn Manning Designs pattern that Jan Hicks showed us that I then fell in love with. And the fabric's supposed to arrive on Tuesday. Well, I finished that last Friday. I said, okay, well, I don't want to really get into anything, because as soon as this fabric arrives, like, that's going to be my sole focus. So I was like, I started looking through like things I had semi-kitted up, like had fabric for or something. And I saw this, I was like, oh, this is perfect. This is something I can work on in anticipation. And it is the Sue Hillis Wine a Little. And it came with the charm. I think I bought this during my first trip at Keepsakes too. I've loved this. And it's on, I ended up finishing it. So I started this Saturday morning and was done Saturday evening. It's on 28 count mushroom Lugana. The charm comes with it. And this was a really fun stitch. I really enjoyed it. That scroll back stitch, she charts so perfectly for back stitch. I really appreciate how because it follows perfectly along the line. So you can just follow it perfectly. So really loved it. It took me like 8 hours to do, just because of all the color changes that Sue Hillis is famous for. These leaves have 3 colors and these grapes have 3 colors. So it took a little bit of work, but I really enjoyed it. I did have a modification, accidental modification. These letters they're the You'll Feel Better is supposed to be 3 spaces up. I accidentally counted off. So it didn't actually ruin the spacing. Like it still fit in what was supposed to be the right size. It just, so this better like was along like it matched up perfectly with the vine, but the vine's supposed to come down like just a little bit and kind of, so I just added an extra little curly Q down there at the bottom just to kind of, because it kind of ended there. And I don't know, I just wanted a little something more. So I just added that little curly Q at the bottom of it to kind of round it out. So for finishing, I've been trying to think about what I was gonna do for finishing, and I really like, because I want to have over one day, I talk about my future home a lot. I dream a lot about my future home, but I would love to have like a bar section, like a wine holder, and with all my wine glasses, like the little stands you can get, and have like wine decorations around it. But I'm thinking like a wooden or metal like wine sign or something that this can then be like finished on top of is kind of what I'm thinking for finishing. A lot of people had some good ideas when I post on Instagram, like turning it into a wine sack or into a pillow or something. And who knows, I might still end up doing something like that, or restitching it and changing it, doing it in a different way. What's nice about this is this does go so fast that this would be like a good gift. So I mean, I'd have to get the charm again, but so yeah, so really good ideas to think about for like gifts in the future. So yeah, so that's all my finishes for now. Now whips. So then I finished that Saturday evening. Still wasn't Tuesday. So Sunday I woke up and I was like, okay, so now what am I gonna work on? I officially didn't have anything else that was like kitted up enough to start really. So I started going back through my whips and I was like, I'm gonna pull this back out. I said I wanted to have it done by winter, so maybe I should start working on it a little bit. So I pulled out my Cricut Collection Winter. And now that I have summer and autumn, now I really need to have winter. So it's Cricut Collection Winter. So I got the N and the T done. And it was actually really fun to do. I was gonna do the snowman, but apparently the snowman uses like a blending filament from Kreinik, and I don't have that. So only change I made was this hat. The yellow and the green are actually flipped in the original, but to make it more me, I made green the main color and then made the white or yellow as the interior. So, oh, and I did, so now it's a snowman without a body, but I got everything else on him. I got his buttons and his hat, besides the back stitch. So, and that was actually really fun to do. Those letters are really fun because it's not totally mindless, but it's easier stitching. And that's on 32 count pearl gray Belfast. Yep, linen, well gel, not Belfast. I still don't know because I always heard like 32 count also means Belfast, but not all 32 counts are Belfast. I don't know. It's like, and then there's Newcastle's one. I'm not sure, but 32 count pearl gray. And then it was Tuesday, and I was like, okay, it's gonna arrive. It says it's shipped. It's gonna expect a delivery Tuesday. So all day I waited. I checked my mailbox. There was nothing in there. And I looked, and it was like in transit, AKA not out for delivery, but in transit. It's like, okay. Well, I was in a starting mood then because I was like really planning to start something. And I was like, let me go back through and just see if there's something here I can start somehow, some way, even if it's like a tiny little ornament or something. Well, then I found, actually, I did have something else kitted up that I just missed before. So I got started on it, and that is Reindeer Roundup by Prairie Schooler. And I bought this, again, around one of my first trips. My parents plan to have a cabin in the North Georgia mountains relatively soon. So I just thought this was very cabinish and would look good up there. So I bought it. I've fallen in love with it, so I'll get one eventually, but I started it. It's 28 count Lugana, mushroom Lugana. No, this is 32 count flax, sorry. 32 count flax. It's either, for me, it's almost always flax or mushroom Lugana, but and this is where I got to on it. So I started it on Tuesday, but I've kind of worked on and off on it since then. The reindeer is so fun. So you might be counting, and there are more than what the pattern shows. There is no such thing in my world of a reindeer roundup where Rudolph is not included. Because in case you forget the song, Rudolph is the most famous reindeer of all. So we had to include Rudolph. So I looked through the pattern and I was trying to find like how to add another reindeer. And I was looking, and Santa should have like a reindeer right next to him. I felt like that was a good place where the trees could kind of be coming up behind him. It's like, okay, well now I gotta find a reindeer to put there. And the only one that doesn't have, so some of them are like exact opposites of each other, like these two, or really close. And then these are really close. But this one and this one, they're very like unique. They don't have like duplicates essentially. So I was like, okay, well, if it's gonna be here, he's too close. So I took this one, flipped him around so he's facing Santa, and just stuck him right there. And that's that guy down there. And then I was like, well, Rudolph's got to have a red nose. So I then looked at the pattern. I was like, which one will look good like with the red nose? It's easy to do and kind of is center of the pattern because it's Rudolph, you know. So I made that guy Rudolph and added a little red nose to him. So yeah, so all the reindeer are done. All the trunks for the trees are done. I finished the border around the words, and now I'm starting on Santa. Santa has a little bit of a modification as well. On his arm, I miscounted. So the top green, that's supposed to be blank, but I accidentally started there. I didn't realize it till I'd finished the sleeve. I was like, maybe he's just gonna be a little chunkier in the arms. You know, Santa's not the most fit guy. So we're just gonna, I'm gonna finish out Santa, and if it still looks not right, I'll go back and change it. But for now, we're gonna roll with it. So that was that whip. And then I got an updated notification that the fabric would be here on Thursday. So Thursday arrived, I got the text, it's out for delivery, and it arrived at 1:56 p.m. Yes, I know that because I immediately went out to my mailbox and got that fabric. I did not start it because I was still working for the day. It was not 5 o'clock yet, but I got the fabric and I was anticipating it the whole day. So back in my Georgia bag. Oh, my mom, so my mom's here visiting me for a little while, and she brought a new zipper pull for my Georgia bag. So she put a little paw print on there, and we'll put the wine bottle on a more appropriately themed bag soon. So this is Beachcomber by Carolyn Manning Designs. Sounds like I enabled a few of you with her design. She's incredible, so highly recommend, and thanks to Jan Hicks for showing me her. So I finally got started on it. I love it's just a repeating pattern. No matter what way you turn it, it's the same pattern. So I'm usually a center starter, but I definitely wanted to be a center starter for this one, just to kind of, because then you can just kind of go around and around and around and kind of build out. I mean, at some point I'm gonna have to just do a corner, but at least for this center, I really wanted to go around and around. So that's what I did. And there it is so far. So this is 40 count Mallow by Zweigart that I got, and 1/2. It's my first time using one strand, because even on 36 count I like to use 2 strands because I just feel like it has better coverage and I like the bulkiness. So this is my first time using really one strand and on 40 count, and I love it. My stitches like automatically look perfect, which is so nice. So yeah, it's so fun. Don't be fooled though. Okay, I need to not be fooled because I was kind of fooled a little bit. Even though it's really small, that's a lot of stitching. This is still like 12 hours of stitching collectively. Yes, since Thursday, don't judge me. So I mean, I'm just kidding, it's been 24 hours cross stitch. I'm halfway there. So I'm obsessed with it. I absolutely love it. And now I'm ready to kind of keep building it out. I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna go from here, but now I get to kind of play around with it. So, and I love this fabric. It kind of looks like Oatmeal Ada. It has that same look to it. And Oatmeal Ada was my favorite when I was stitching on Ada. I just love that like that sandy look in a way. So this has been perfect. So I'm so excited. I love it so much. It's gonna be a while before it gets anywhere near a finish, but it's a lot of fun. Let's see here. So that's all my whips / starts / finishes. I wanted to, before I get to stash, I did want to quickly shout out a few people that were kind of integral with what I've started and what I've been working on. Even just from the comments, people talk about how FlossTubers are enablers, and you see so many pretty things, and that is the case. I mean, obviously, Jan Hicks is one of my main enablers right now. But you all are enablers as well, okay? People who commented, like Xstitch MD, Shiloh, she, I just started following her. She commented on mine, and then I realized that she was also a FlossTuber, so I checked her out. And her projects are incredible, and has actually made me really want to try a Quaker. I haven't done any Quaker projects before, but there's a few that she's started that I'm like drooling over. So I might be starting a Quaker here soon. And then on Instagram, Stitchy Linda, she lives in Florida, and she put on a picture of her, like essentially her beach wall in a way. She has a few cross stitch patterns that she's done that are all on her wall, and I want to do every single one of them now. So they are all on my list. And then Amy Blanford, who commented, she also talked about shiny sun cross stitch. So I checked them out, and I'll put a few pictures of the ones that I am now drooling over. They're full coverage. They're not quite as big as Hade's, but they're sizable. And there are a few gorgeous ones on there that I now really want to do as well. So talk about you being enablers. But I love it, and I really appreciate every single person that has commented and liked and subscribed. I seriously cannot thank you all enough. And I've tried to go through and reply and heart, every single one of your comments on my first video. Because I just really appreciate, and it sounds like there's a lot of Auburn people out there, and a lot of people who've been to Tiny Stitches as well. You may see my mom there at some point, so say hi to her if you see her for me. So I just wanted to really, really appreciate. And there's a few new FlossTubers that I've started watching as well, from comments that I'll shout out. So X Stitch MD, Stitch the Stash, Niecy Lynn, Barbara's Daughter, and then Brenda and the Cereal Starter, which I'm apparently very late to the game on that one, but they're hilarious and their projects are incredible as well. So those are my shout outs for this week. Now I guess we'll get to some stash, and then I'll talk about my tentative mania plans. So first thing, speaking of my mom, she finished another project bag with sunflowers. So I bought her this fabric. I just saw it and thought of her and bought it for her, and then she already had the green, and then on the inside is yellow, but she had enough to make two. So she made me one as well, and this yellow rickrack, it's a little bumblebee zipper pull, and it's just gorgeous. So with like the Georgia one, she just used one fabric that folded over, and with this one, she now has used 3. So she's really coming along, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And so there's another one. A lot of you had some really good advice on what to do about David's Starry Night Over the Roan pattern, and how to make it so it's not a job for me and I actually enjoy stitching it. And the main one was you need to change the fabric. I mean, that was like the common thing, was you need to find a fabric you're gonna enjoy stitching on. And the dark blue Ada is not that fabric. So I was at Joann's picking up that frame for Paige's pattern, and I checked out the Ada, and so I got 18 count Fiddler's Ada, which I don't quite know what the difference is between Fiddler's Ada and like normal Ada, but it looks the same, so I assume it stitches the same. Let me know if it's not or it doesn't. But it's light oatmeal, and so I'm gonna try. Again, like I said, oatmeal is always my favorite. So I'm gonna try stitching it again. I didn't get very far on it, so it's not a big deal to start over, and see if this just goes a little bit better. Essentially they were saying, a lot of people are saying try not using white, but another color probably won't show through as much. And if you do 18 count over 16 count, you're gonna have even less likely of a chance of it showing through. So I'm gonna give this a shot, see how it goes. Thank you so much to everyone who gave me that advice, and I'll let you know how it goes. I have no idea when I'm gonna restart this, especially with Beachcomber, but we have the tools. A few other things. Went a little, not crazy, but not frugal either. So someone on Stash Unload posted dinky dyes. So this is like a set that you could get, these scissors and then the silk that came with it. Absolutely gorgeous. I don't know, I'll have to save something special for this. I haven't actually used silk before, but this was so pretty. It's called Serenity. 100% silk, so it's gorgeous. I'll find something for that. And then these scissors, kind of floral green blue. I am part of the Fortnite Fabrics Fabric of the Month, and so we got our April. I'm part of the Neutral Club, so I got, 32 count linen, and it's so nice. This just screams like, it's coming a little dark. It's like a brown. This just screams like a hot chocolate pattern. I don't know. It just screams chocolate, hot chocolate. So I'm gonna have to find something cool for that. I don't stitch a lot of Halloween. Halloween isn't really my holiday. Fall, I really stick to the fall versus the Halloween. I've never really been into Halloween, don't hate me, since I was little. I mean, I still dressed up and did the trick-or-treating and everything, but it just hasn't really spoken to me like it does a lot of other people. Because I know a lot of people have said that this would be good for a Halloween pattern, and I you know, we'll see. Well, the main reason Halloween's not my holiday, I hate scary. I don't do scary well. I don't watch any scary movies. I don't do horror. I get nightmares pretty easily, so I know I'm gonna be a doctor, but I don't do like suspense, terror kind of things well. It's just not my jam. So I do kind of like the cutesy Halloween stuff, just not the scary, horror, bloody kind of Halloween stuff. And then stash and load, I just kind of got a grab bag of random fabrics. They were like random sizes, random colors. So that was really cool. And then someone was also doing like a grab bag of beads. They came, so the way she packaged them was pretty nice because they came in like little bags that were like stapled to a card or whatever. But 2 of the bags ended up getting holes in them, like in transit. So in the envelope, I had like 2 big things of beads that I had to then sort. So I have these little containers, and this is how I hold my beads, and I put the number like in Sharpie. But these were, so I had those 2, which one or both of these might end up in my Celtic summer. We'll see. I think I ordered both of them from Keepsakes. The yellow, which were those 2 numbers, and then this orange, pretty orange. These containers, so I haven't talked about my job a lot, but I do research in a Cincinnati Children's Hospital. I work in the psychiatry department. I work for a few physicians who specialize in autism and Fragile X syndrome, and they're practicing physicians, but then also develop studies for different like drug trials or behavioral interventions, and I'm a research coordinator. So I take their vision and execute it. I recruit, I actually conduct the visit studies at the hospital. So, but one of the main parts of my job is I actually conduct research EEGs. And with the nets on their head and everything, and the electrodes occasionally go out, and I am part of replacing them, and these are actually what hold the electrodes. So when I started, they were just like throwing these away, and I was like, this would hold bead really well. And so I just grabbed all of them, the ones, every time I've, replaced an electrode, I grab one of these, so I have like 50 or 60 of these right now. So, just kind of use what you got, and use where you have it. One of the patterns that Stitchy Linda has definitely enabled me to start is Walk on the Beach by Erica Michaels, and I'll put a picture of the pattern. And I called Keepsakes. And ordered the pattern. They didn't have it in stock, but they've ordered it for me. But Stephanie went ahead and pulled the fabric and threads that I'm gonna need for it. So this is 40 count. I'm not doing this whole gauze because I actually want it to be bigger than that. I don't want it to be that teeny tiny. So I'm doing it on linen, 40 count linen in sand. So this is the fabric. It's like this pretty kind of peachy yellow fabric, and then these are most of the threads that are going to be on it. I'm only missing one that I think was ordered at the same time as the pattern, so I'll get that when I go to get the pattern. But it's so pretty, and on Instagram she's gotten it almost done, and it's gorgeous. So I'm really excited to start that. I think that's all my haul for this week. it's really fun. So a lot of fabric and threads, and I bought a lot of DMC too, but it's either already in projects or, you know. So speaking of all of my wonderful new subscribers, which actually was kind of funny, so David was my first subscriber. He subscribed before I even posted the video, like, because I already had the channel, so he just subscribed. Turns out my 1,000th subscriber was actually my dad. He didn't have a Google account, so he didn't have like a YouTube account or anything. My mom had subscribed really early on, but dad hadn't, and my mom apparently had like called out to him like, Michael, she's at 997 or something. So he like went and created a Google account, and then as soon as it was $9.99, he hit subscribe and was my 1,000th subscriber. So my two favorite guys kind of bookended my first big milestone of YouTube. So I thought that was really cool. But as a thank you to all of you who have decided to check me out and subscribe, I want to say thank you. And it seems to be the precedented ways to do a giveaway. Didn't have a lot of time to come up with, you know, a whole slew of things, but my mom has offered to donate a bag as a giveaway. We haven't like picked out the fabric or anything about it yet, so I'm not gonna like open it up yet. We're gonna wait until she's coming back for Mother's Day. So we'll announce it. We'll have the bag and I can show you. And if you are interested, then on that video is when you can like comment and I'll have a question and everything like that. But I wanted to go ahead and let you know that that's coming down the pipeline as a huge thank you. Pam and Steph at Just Keep Stitching just did the nicest, sweetest shout out to me, and I love them so much and I'll never be able to thank them enough. I had been texting Steph a lot before I got started of like, so how do you like do this, a couple of days before, and she was so encouraging and so sweet and really helpful and had some really good advice. So if you have not yet, if you are not from them and you have not checked them out, please do. They're incredible. Of course, they'll be linked below. I don't know of any other FlossTube shout outs, so if someone else has shouted me out, please let me know because I'd love to properly thank them as well, and subscribe if I haven't yet. So let's see. Now I can talk a little bit about my mania plans-ish. So if you don't know about mania, I feel like every single FlossTuber has talked about it and described it at this point, but basically it is, use May to do whatever you want to do, essentially. People start all the things, they start one thing, they focus on one whip, they work on all their whips. It's pretty much whatever you want to make it. Last year was the first year I had like learned about mania and I did not participate, but I'm participating this year in the sense that, again, Stitchy Linda had said she was like in a very coastal mood. And I realized, I'm in a very coastal mood. It is dark and dreary and cold, and I just want to be at the beach right now. I would give almost anything to be at the beach right now. So I think I'm gonna stitch the beach this May. So I'm going to every week I'm gonna work on a different coastal pattern. So I'm gonna start out. I have 4 to 5, and I only own 1 so far. So my first week is I'm gonna do Beachcomber for the whole week. So that'll be like May 1 through 9. And then the next week, so my pattern for walk on the beach should be within the next week or so, even probably before May hits. So I'm going to make that my second week because I already have the fabric and the threads, and I'll have the pattern relatively soon. So that'll be May 10th through the 16th. And then the third and fourth week are a little up in the air. I have a pattern that I've really wanted to get for a while from Artisy, and I'll include a picture, hammock at sunset. And it's just so wonderful and exactly where I would love to be right now. So I think I can get it as a download, but if not, I'll have a little bit of time for that to come in. And it's a full coverage, so I would just do it on Ada, and it's all DMC. It's like 50 colors of DMC, but it's all DMC, so relatively easy to acquire. And then the last week is a little up in the air between 2 patterns, and it really just depends on which fabric I can get in faster. My Celtic summer fabric. So I said last time that I think I had ordered it from Under the Sea Fabrics, and I still might have. I haven't gone back and looked at my email, but I did see a color in cotton on their website that also looks like it could be perfect. So I've ordered that, and they say right now it's like a 4-week turnaround, and I did that a week and a half ago. So hopefully that could be in by the end of May, or by May 17th, 18th. If not, no big deal. The other one I have is Patchwork Quaker Monet's garden version that X-Stitch MD Shiloh had shown in one of her, I binged all of her videos. So in one of her videos, she had shown it, and it's pretty much my perfect Quaker. It is a Quaker, but it's in teals and greens, and it's so great. I'll include a picture again. I cannot pronounce the designer's name, and I'm not going to try. It will be listed, so you'll see it. But that one, I think that I could probably get a big enough piece for that. I don't even know how big of a piece I really need, because it's a PDF pattern, but you have to buy, they don't like give you the stitch count or anything on the website, so I'm not quite sure how big it's going to be. So, but I assume I could get that from like 1, 2, 3 Stitch, and that has like a 2 to 3 week turnaround. Keepsakes might have a piece big enough as well. So we'll just see. So really the last week 3, week 4 really just depend on if I can get the supplies I need. I'm so late to this game, but my game wouldn't look like this if I hadn't had the last week of all of your wonderful influences. So, you know, it all just, you know, it'll work out. Worst case, I'll just work on patchwork, beachcomber or walk on a beach. I mean, maybe those are my only two in Mania. Mania is whatever you want to make it. So we'll just make it work how it works. But I think that's all I got right now. Oh, one other piece of stash is I did get a tripod. David strongly encouraged me, and he already found the link and sent me the link and said, can I go ahead and get this? And I'm like, sure. So my phone is on a tripod, so I feel a little bit more official. It's a little bit different of a setup, but okay, let's see. I think that's everything. I've had notes this week as well. So, I think I've talked about everything on my table and all around me. So I think we'll go ahead and end this here. I am Georgia Girl _ Stitching on Instagram, and Georgia Girl Stitching on FlossTube. Feel free to please like, subscribe, comment, you know, all the things. And again, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer and happy to talk with you about anything. I've had some really great conversations. People have like messaged me on Instagram or commented on here, and I really love that, and I really appreciate that. Kokohamas, Stitchery Rocio, she always talks about how she loves having conversations, and I've actually had a conversation with her on Instagram. So I really love that. And if you have anything and want to chat or be friends, I'm totally open. So yeah, so thanks again for stopping by and watching all of this. And if you have anything, reach out, and stay safe out there. Stay warm. It sounds like it's cold in a lot of the country, so stay warm, stay happy, and happy stitching, everyone.